All right, so after you are able to successfully install the necessary tools that you need for building mobile applications with Flutter, the next will be to learn a little bit of the Dart language, the Dart programming language. As I was saying earlier, the Dart language is simply a language that is used to develop or write the codes for building the app. So you have to at least be familiar with the language small, if not everything about the language, but you should understand a few terms and a few codes that you can write. Now, what I'll be doing is that I'm going to teach a few terms about, I'm going to teach a few things about programming, especially using the Dart programming language. But before that, this Flutter that we are talking about, Flutter is a kind of UI framework that will allow you to build mobile applications. And the good thing about Flutter is that when you use it to build a mobile app, you can deploy that same mobile app as to Android phones and to iOS phones. So both Android phone and then the Apple phone, the app can be installed on them. You don't have to rewrite any code. If you build it, you can run the app on both Android and iOS. Even you can run it also on browsers. When I say browser, I mean the Firefox, the Google Chrome. You can run that same app on the browsers as well. And even you can also run those apps as desktop softwares and install them as desktop softwares, like these ones you see on my screen. The VLC and Co, Opera, they are all desktop softwares. So Flutter is a very versatile, what do you call it, framework. Okay, and so when you're able to learn it, you are way ahead like that. You can do so many things with it. Imagine using Flutter, you write apps and then people can use it on their Android phones, and those who have Apple phones can also use it. You get it? And you can also install it as softwares for other people. So that's the goodness of Flutter. So I think if you follow through this tutorial, you really benefit it a lot. Now, I want to open my Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is one of the tools I asked you guys to install. So I'm going to open it here. Okay, so this is when you open Visual Studio Code, you probably will see the welcome page, as normal this thing. Now, what we are going to do, you are going to press Control Shift and then P, like this. Control Shift P. Control Shift P. You see this thing has popped up on top there. You can just type what we call Dart. When you tap that, you see this option, New Project. You click on it. When you click on it, it will ask you which Dart template. Then you select what? Simple what? Command line application. We are going to learn a few terms in programming. Then it will open something like this for you to ask you to select a folder to create the project in. So you can just create a folder, maybe codes or something, and use that folder to save your Dart code. So I've created a new folder and I'm going to select it and click on select the project folder. Then the next thing is to give your application a name. So you can say, okay, my dot codes. Then you press enter. So this will set up a dot, what do you call it? Code for you. Okay, if you see this pop up, just tick and say, yes, I trust the authors. So you just wait a while for it to open. You can see it's setting up. Okay, so now let me try to shift these things somewhere. All right. So now, when you follow my process, you see something like this. This is like something we call a console application. Okay. Yes, a console application. You write codes and then the code should be executed here. So the reason we are doing this is I want to just teach you a few things about programming before we drop into the main mobile application development itself. Now, you see this print hello world. I'm going to run this code by clicking this and say what, start running. You watch down here, something will change down here. Something will change down here. Just a minute. But okay, so I'm going to continue sharing my screen again. All right, so this print hello world is actually what has been executed here. When I write print into brackets, double quotes, let's say maybe, hi, my name is Mudasir, and I put a semicolon here. Now what I'm asking the computer to do is I want it to print this, whatever is inside here. Hi, my name is Mudasir, on the console here. So when I click run like this, when I click run, you will see, now you can see the first print statement has been printed here, hello world. And the second one, which is hi, my name is Mudasir, has also been printed here. You get it? So basically, this is just, I'm doing this just for you to understand that programming is all about giving instructions to the computer to execute. And you need to learn the language. There's the way to write the instructions. Okay. Yeah. This tutorial is being recorded, so I think there's no cause for alarm. After this course, I'll share the recording and then you watch it so that you understand what I mean from here. Okay. I want to discuss a concept of, what do we call it? Variables. Variables. Variables is a concept in programming that simply means storing information. Okay, to store, when you want to store information in the computer, okay, so if I say var and I say variable one is equals to hi, Mudassir is my name. I put semicolon here. Now, what this line of code means is that you see this, hi, my Mudassir is my name. The computer will take this information here and store it inside this variable called variable one. To store it here. Okay, it will store it here. So whenever I use variable one, it will give me this information. Now I'm going to copy this line of code and come down here and paste it. But then I'll remove this information inside here and say variable one, like this. Good. So what I'm saying is that print, and the print will print whatever information is inside here. Now I have stored an information which is hi, Mudassir is my name, inside this variable one. Anything after the equal to here, the right hand side will be stored inside here. So this print variable one is supposed to print this information when I run the code. So I'm going to run the code. Okay, let me run it again. All right, good. Now you can see we have 3 print statements in this our code. First print is here, second print statement is here. This is the third one. You realize the third one here, I have rather put a variable inside, which is this. So you can see the first one has been printed, the second one has been printed, and the third one too has been printed. Now the third one, notice the information printed. It is the information that I stored here. It is the information that I stored here, which has been printed. Okay. Yeah, so that's the concept of variables. Simply use to store information. So I think I would like to speak about data types. In programming, we have different types of data. Let me name them here and you see something. We have different types of data. We have integer, we have double, we have string, okay, I think, and we have bool. There are more, but these 4 are the major ones we'll be using. Now let me talk about integer. Integer is simply a whole number. And in math, you should know what a whole number means. A number without a decimal. And a double is the opposite of a what? Integer. A number with decimals. A number with what? Decimals. And a string simply stores what? Group of words. Group of words or strings. You can check out the meaning of what? Strings. But if you want to store a group of words, for example, hi, Mudassir is my name. These are a group of what? Words. And I've stored it in a string. Yeah, I think my internet is a bit off and on. But let's kindly manage it. Since I'll be sharing the recording, you can follow through. All right, so I was saying that a string is a group of words or a group of strings, and I gave this information as what? My example. Next is a bool. A bool is what? True or false. A bool is a data type that can store only true or false, or what? 0, 1. So it can either store a true or false value. Aside that, nothing else. Okay. Good. So now let me demonstrate these different data types for you to know. For example, I want to store an integer. So I have to create a variable that can store an integer, or a variable with the integer data type. What I'll do in computer, in that program, I'll say int. Then I'll say my integer variable. My integer variable here is simply a name that I'm giving to the variable I want to store. Now the actual information is here, 25. So what this code means is that 25 will be stored inside my integer variable. Okay, so wherever I say, I'm sharing my screen again. So if I say my integer variable, I'm just going to copy this and paste it inside the print statement like this. So I'm telling the computer that it's on line 17, which is here, it should print this guy. Okay, it should print what? The value here. So let me run this code and you'll see something. Now, do you see that somewhere at the end here, I have seen 25 being printed. You see print, so it has print. It means that whenever I say my integer variable, it knows that there is 25 stored inside it. And the reason I'm saying int here is because 25 is an integer. It's a whole number. Okay. Now next, let's talk about double. So if I say double, my double variable is equals to what? 50.50, like this. As I said earlier, a double variable stores what? Numbers with decimals. So if I come here and say what? Print, I'll just copy the variable name and paste it here. End of semicolon. And then I run it. I should get 50.50 also printed as part of the print statement in the console. You can see 50.5 is printed here at a point. You have seen it. Good. So now, I think for the string, this is an example of a string variable. It's always in quotes. You can see the difference. You can see the difference between a string, storing a string, and that of integer and then doubles. You can see that my integer has no brackets in between it. This quote shows that it is a string. So I'm going to store a bool. So I'll say bool, my bool, or let me just say bool true or false, like this, is equals to what? True. Now I can decide to say print what? True or false. And then I'll run. I'll run my code. You can see it has print what? True. Okay, what if this true, if I change it to something like my, you see that already it has highlighted this my here. For if I say bool, it means I have to store either true or false. So if I don't store anything which is true or false, I'll get an error. So I'm going to run this code and you see that I'll start getting errors right now. You see, I got a pop-up here. build errors exist. If I say continue, you see some big errors will be written down here. Good, you can see error here. But what if I change this my to what? False. And then I run again. Then you see that there won't be an error. It will store the false inside this variable. And when it gets here, it will print it. You can see that the print statement has been printed here. So now I want you guys to realize something. The computer simply is reading our instructions from what? Top all the way down here. That's why you see that the things are printed one by one, one by one. It is reading the code. For every print statement, it knows I have to print something. So first print is what? Hello world, which is here. Second print, my name is Mudassir, which is here. This is the third print, which is also supposed to print a variable here, which is also here. The next print, which is this one, a variable, integer variable of 25 stored here. Supposed to print it. It has printed it here. All the way to the what? To the last value here, which is also printed. So basically the computer will read your code. Everything that is in between this void main, this bracket open and bracket close, anything that is in there is gonna read it from beginning all the way to end, and then to execute it for you based on the instructions. So I think this is all I wanted to show you regarding variables and then data types. And I'll pause the tutorial today so that tomorrow, even though this is not all about programming in that, but this is just a foundation for us to start. Tomorrow when we meet, we will just go straight to creating our first mobile application, inshallah. So at this stage, I'll stop sharing my screen. If you have any questions, you can ask, and then we call it a day. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Yeah, so I hope you guys were able to hear me, even though I know once in a while that it's connecting. But have you been able to make sense of the little I've been saying right now?
Yeah.
Do you have any question that you want me to address? Or you want to probably watch the recording before, then you can ask your questions on the book page. Abru, do you have any questions for me?
No.
Pardon? Yes, I can hear you, bro.
Then for the data types, I had an understanding about them. So maybe the question will come maybe next class, inshallah.
All right, inshallah. That's good.
Inshallah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think I would just maybe we can end our class today, and then I'll share the recording. Kindly try and watch it, and also get the Visual Studio Code, the Android Studio, and then the Flutter. Okay, try your best and get them installed. Watch the video so that tomorrow when we meet, we will go straight to what? Creating our first mobile application and writing a few codes alongside, inshallah.
Inshallah.